Today we will discuss chapter number 1 measurements. Question is, why do we learn physics? As we did discussion on this topic yesterday, so we know that physics helps us to understand any type of natural phenomena. To explain any natural phenomena, we need to do measurements. Today our topic is about measurements. Can you measure the cuteness? Can you tell me how much cute is this child? Can you measure the happiness? Can you tell me how much happy is she? Can you measure the sadness? Can you tell me how much sad is she? Can you measure the beauty of anything? Can you tell me how much beautiful is this place? Answer is no. We cannot measure cuteness, beauty, happiness, and all types of emotions. If I ask you what is your weight or how heavy are you, you may say 40 kg, 50 kg, 70 kg, or any number in kg. Tell me how much time do you take to bake cake? You may say 45 minutes. What is the height of Eiffel Tower? Height of Eiffel Tower is 300 meters approximately. So, we cannot measure happiness, sadness, all types of emotions, beauty, cuteness, but we can measure height, weight, and time. That is the concept of quantities. When we talk about natural phenomena, we do measure quantities. Quantities can be divided into physical quantities and non physical quantities. When we talk about mass, length, time, etc., these can be measured, hence called as physical quantities. As in previous slide we talked about weight, and we can calculate the mass of object, so it comes in physical quantities because weight can be measured. A physical quantity is one that can be measured and consists of magnitude and unit. For defining a physical quantity, we need magnitude and unit. As I asked in previous slide, how heavy are you? You may say 45 kg. So in 45 kg, 45 is magnitude and kg is unit. So for defining and measuring physical quantity, we need magnitude and unit. When it comes to emotions, beauty, cuteness, these cannot be measured. So it's not physical quantity. These are included in non-physical quantities because these cannot be measured. Physical quantities are divided into two types: base quantities and derived quantities. The base quantities are the minimum number of those physical quantities in terms of which other physical quantities can be defined. Derived quantities are those which are derived from other physical quantities. So the combination of base quantities gives us derived quantities. Here we have a analogy related to base quantity and derived quantity to understand the concept of base quantities and derived quantities. Base quantity is like the brick, the basic building block of a house. Derived quantity is like the house that was built up from a collection of bricks, basic quantity. If we look at this house, it is made up of many bricks. One brick is base quantity and two or more bricks are considered as derived quantities. It is just analogy to clear your concepts. Few examples of base quantities and derived quantities are given here. Examples of base quantities are length, mass, and time. Examples of derived quantities are velocity, acceleration, force, and so on. Velocity is derived quantity because it is the combination of two base quantities, length and time. Acceleration is also derived quantity because it is also a combination of base quantities. Force is also derived quantity because it is combination of base quantities. We have enormous examples of derived quantities. To measure physical quantities, we have units. When we say height of Eiffel Tower is 300 meters, Actually, 300 is magnitude and meter is unit. In science, there are uncountable physical quantities. For example, temperature, mass, volume, etc. So in 1960, the scientists reduced quantities into seven basic quantities, and those quantities are called as fundamental or base quantities. The SI units adopted in 1960 represents a set of basic physical quantities and their units are known as base units. There are seven base quantities including length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance and luminous intensity. Unit of length is meter, unit of mass is kilogram, unit of time is second, unit of electric current is ampere, unit of temperature is Kelvin, amount of substance has unit mole, unit of luminous intensity is candela. Length, mass, time is enough to define any kind of mechanical quantity. But when we deal with thermodynamics, we need temperature and amount of substance. For electricity, we have electric current. For defining intensity of light, we have candela. There are seven base quantities. By using these base quantities, we can develop other physical quantities and that are known as derived quantities. Here few examples of drive units are shown. Unit of volume is meter cube, that is drive unit because it is combination of three base units meter into meter and we get meter cube. Unit of density is kilogram per meter cube and again it is the combination of base units. Unit of speed is meter per second and it is combination of two base units. So it's called as drive unit. Unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So it is the combination of three base units. So it is called as drive unit. So from this we got to know that by combining base quantities we get new physical quantities. There are two units and that were not included into base units and drive units. So we call them as supplementary units. Supplementary units include radian and steradian. Radian is unit for plane angle and steradian is unit for solid angle. We know that circle is 2D because it is plotted on two axes. We know that distance from center of the circle to any point at the end of the circle is known as radius of the circle. So this length is radius. Suppose that we move from point A towards the point B, and if this arc length from A to B is equals to radius of the circle, so we define this angle subtended at the center of the circle as 1 radian. According to the definition, a radian is defined as the plane angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc of length equal to the radius. In simple wording, when arc length becomes equal to the radius of circle, then that angle is 1 radian. Steradian is unit of solid angle and for solid angle we talk about 3D. Suppose we have a sphere and we know that sphere is 3D because it is plotted on 3 axes and we are talking about this portion of the sphere that is conical shape. Let's take it out here for simplification. This surface area of cone is equals to r square and it subtends 1 steradian at center of the sphere. So we define steradian as when any portion of surface of a sphere possess area is equals to r square, then it subtends 1 steradian at center of the sphere. According to the definition of steradian, steradian is defined as the solid angle subtended at the center of a sphere by an area of its equal to the square of the radius of that sphere. Formula of radian is theta is equals to s divided by r. Formula of steradian is 1 steradian is equals to area divided by r square. Relation between radian and degree. Here we have taken a circle because we are talking about plane angle, we are talking about 2D, so we have taken a circle here. As arc length from point A to point B represented by S is directly proportional to angle theta. So from figure we can write AB is directly proportional to theta, that is arc length is directly proportional to theta. Here constant of proportionality is equals to r, that is radius of the circle. So we get AB is equals to r theta. By rearranging, we get theta is equals to AB divided by R, as we know that AB is arc length, that is equals to S. So putting AB is equals to S, we get theta is equals to S upon R. To complete one rotation of the circle, this arc length will become equal to circumference of the circle, that is S is equals to 2 pi r. As radius is constant for this circle, r is equals to r, and to complete one rotation, angle is theta is equals to 360 degree. By putting theta is equals to 360 degree, arc length is equals to 2 pi r, and above equation we get 360 degree is equals to 2 pi r divided by r. R is cancelled by r, and we get 2 pi is equals to 360 degree, and 1 radian is equals to 360 degree divided by 2 pi. Finally we get 1 radian is equals to 57.3 degree. Now you have to remember this formula, 1 radian is equals to 57.3 degree. This is the relation between radian and degree. Scientific notations show how very large or very small numbers can be expressed as the product of a number between 1 and 10 and a power of 10. In science, we often encounter very large and very small numbers. Using scientific numbers makes working with these numbers easier. For example, here we have a very large number, the number of atoms in a drop of water. And here we have a very small number, mass of a gold atom in grams. It becomes difficult to deal with these numbers, so we use scientific notations. Scientific notations rule number 1. As the decimal is moved to the left, the power of 10 increases one value for each decimal place moved. For example, here we have a very large number 450,000,000,000. We can write it in scientific notations. First step is just multiply it with 10 to the power 0. We know that any number to 0 power is equals to 1. So 10 to the power 0 is equals to 1, and 1 multiplied by this number again give us the same number 450,000,000,000. When we move decimal to the left, the power of 10 increases one value, and we write 10 to the power 1. By shifting decimal further, again we add 1 to the power of 10 and we get 10 to the power 2. By further moving of decimal, again we add 1 to the power of 10 and now we get 10 to the power 3. And we continue moving decimal point and we place it before 5 and we get final value 4.5 exponent 8. Scientific notations rule number 2. As the decimal is moved to the right, the power of 10 decreases one value for each decimal place moved. For example, here we have a very small number 0.00000072, and we can write it in scientific notation for simplicity. Just multiply this number by 10 to the power 0 because we know that 10 to the power 0 is equals to 1. Any number to 0 power is equals to 1. When we move the decimal place, then the power of 10 decreases 1. By further moving decimal, power of 10 decreases by 1 and now we get 10 to the power minus 2. And further moving of decimal, we get 10 to the power minus 3 and this process continues until we write decimal point after 7 and now we get 7.2 exponent minus 6. So these are two simple rules for scientific notations. Prefixes of the power of 10. The power of 10 are expressed in particular names are called prefixes. For example, exponent minus 6 is named as micro and exponent 6 is named as mega. Here you can see prefixes with their equivalent values. Atto is prefix of exponent minus 18, femto is prefix of exponent minus 15, pico is prefix of exponent minus 12, nano is prefix of exponent minus 9, micro is prefix of exponent minus 6, milli is prefix of exponent minus 3, centi is prefix of exponent minus 2, deci is prefix of exponent minus 1, deca is prefix of exponent 1, kilo is prefix of exponent 3, mega is prefix of exponent 6, giga is prefix of exponent 9, tera is prefix of exponent 12, peta is equivalent to exponent 15, exa is prefix of exponent 18. Try to remember these prefixes and their equivalent values. Conventions for using SI units. Full name of unit does not begin with a capital letter even if named after a scientist, for example, Newton. When we write Newton with capital N, this represents the name of scientist Newton. But when we write Newton with small n, it represents unit name used for force. So when we write full name of the unit, we use small letters because we are writing full name of unit. So we cannot write the full name of unit with capital letter. The symbol of unit named after a scientist has initial capital letter such as capital N for Newton, PA is symbol for Pascal. Pascal is name of scientist. So when we write symbol PA, that is unit, Pascal. So this symbol of unit is written with capital letter. As you can see that P is capital in the symbol of Pascal unit. Hertz is name of scientist and its unit symbol that is represented by capital H and Z. So according to the rule, H is capital because the symbol of unit named after a scientist has initial capital letter. The prefix should be written before the unit without any space. We can write 1 exponent minus 3 meters as 1 millimeter. Milli is prefix and meter is unit. And we write prefix with unit without any space. Look at another value 7 exponent minus 15 second. We can write it as 7 femtosecond. Femto is prefix and second is unit. According to the rule, there is no space between prefix and unit. So we write femtosecond without any space. The combination of units is written each with one space apart. For example, in 80 Newton meter, Newton is one unit, meter is another unit. So there is a space between Newton and meter. In 30 ampere second, ampere is one unit, second is another unit. So there is a space between ampere and second. Compound prefixes are not allowed as 12 micro into microfarad is wrong. We can write their equivalent values as 12 exponent minus 6 into exponent minus 6 farad. Exponent minus 6 into exponent minus 6 is exponent minus 12, and we get 12 into exponent minus 12 farad. Exponent minus 12 is equivalent value of prefix pico, and we can write it as 12 picofarad. Now pico is only one prefix and it is allowed, but we cannot write compound prefixes like micro into micro. It is not allowed. Now we have 1 micro into microfarad, that is again wrong, and we write their equivalent values. 1 exponent minus 6 into exponent minus 6 farad. Exponent minus 6 into exponent minus 6 gives us exponent minus 12, and we get 1 exponent minus 12 farad. Exponent minus 12 is equivalent value of prefix pico, and we can write it as 1 picofarad. And now we have 6 exponent 5 centimeter. It is wrong because exponent 5 is equivalent value of prefix and centi is another prefix. So equivalent value of any prefix with another prefix is not allowed. Now we can write equivalent value of centi, that is exponent minus 3, and we get 6 exponent 5 into exponent minus 3 meter, and finally we get 6 exponent 2 meter. When a multiple of a base unit is raised to a power, the power applied to the whole multiple and not just the base unit alone. 1 kilometer square means this square is on kilo as well as on meter. We can write it as 1 kilometer whole square. Kilo is prefix equivalent to exponent 3. By solving this, we get 1 exponent 6 meter square. We have another value 1 millimeter cube. Now this cube is on both values, on the unit meter, and it is also on the prefix milli. So we can write it as 1 millimeter whole cube. Milli has equivalent value exponent 3. By putting the value of milli, we can get 1 exponent 3 whole cube into meter cube. And finally we get 1 exponent 9 meter cube. Measurement in practical work should be recorded immediately in the most convenient unit. Micrometer is screw gauge measurement in millimeter and the mass of calorimeter in grams. But before calculation for the result, all measurements must be converted to the appropriate SI base units. So whenever we will solve numerical problems, we will use SI base units. And if the values are given in another units, we will convert that values into SI base units.